I am joined by Robert Griffin III, James White, Field Yates Meanakeims.
All right, so first play we're going to look at 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
What is going on, everybody? Mike Kadlick here. No Tayler Kyles. Some technical difficulties on his end, but we could not pass up the opportunity to have on friend of the show, now 3rd time on the Patriots Daily podcast. As you saw him in the intro there, it is James White, 3-time Super Bowl champion, the host of the Money Down podcast, color analyst for Sports USA. As I said, friend of the show, and somebody who also spent 8 seasons in New England as a running back, all under new offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. So we want to get all the info you have on Josh, what it's going to look like for Drake Maye, what it looked like over those 8 seasons. But first and foremost, James, thank you so much for coming on, taking your time. How is everything going in your end in your life so far this year?
Everything's been going well. Did a lot of different things, throughout this year, from, being a color analyst for Sports USA, helping out at, NIU, being a part of that program this season, doing some stuff at CBS Sports HQ, and then obviously doing my podcast as well. So kind of been all over the place, but it's been a ton of fun just trying to stay busy in this retired life.
I was going to say, you're not really retired. You're doing pretty much everything under the sun now. You see you popping up everywhere. So good to hear it. We're obviously happy for you being Patriots coverage and Patriots fans. That's all awesome stuff. Now, the Patriots did just hire Josh McDaniels as their OC. We do want to get into that, your experience with him, kind of how that offense works. But first, you haven't been on the show with us since the season, and Gerard Mayo was obviously fired basically right after Week 18. And I know that you seemed a little bit surprised at that happening, at least in your reaction on social media. But now a couple weeks out, seeing how that went down and seeing how the transition has gone, just what was your reaction to that? Do you think it was the right decision, the wrong decision, and sort of where the Patriots are at post, obviously Gerard Mayo's exit?
For me, I wouldn't say, I guess I was surprised. Okay. I just thought, with Crab actually hiring Mayo, the expectation that it was going to take, more than one season. That's definitely kind of, my way of looking at it. If you're hiring a first-time head coach, only 5 years into coaching in the league and everything, and hiring a fairly, new staff, a lot of guys doing things for the first time, I would expect you would think it was going to take time. You wouldn't expect
a little bit more of a leash.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was more of my idea on it. So that's maybe why I was caught a little off guard by it. I understand the whole contract thing where, it's written in his contract that he's going to be the next coach, but you can restructure contracts. You see it all the time with, players and coaches or whatever you so have it. So that's why it caught me off guard. Like I said, I don't know whether it's the right or wrong move. I mean, things could turn around completely this year. Things may not. Only time will tell. I just thought it just wasn't necessarily fair, on Mayo's part, put in a tough spot. But hey, that's the nature of this league. It's result-oriented business. Fans weren't happy. Kraft's not happy. He wants the team to compete a little bit better. So tough decisions have to be made.
It is. You're right. And that is the tough part. And you said it best, where he was put in, it felt like virtually impossible decision, at least, or situation, at least down the stretch, right? Where, the roster is shot. First-time head coach, first-time coordinators off the across the board. And then he's supposed to make, lemons out of or lemonade out of oranges, and it's like, what are we doing here? And then it gets to the end, and obviously it doesn't go well. But they had to make their decision. You said it right. It is a business, and they had to do what's best for the team. And now we're on to the Mike Vrabel era and the Josh McDaniels era, which is why we wanted to truly have you on this show here. I want to get your thoughts on Josh coming in a 3rd time, and what it's like working under him, but. First and foremost, I guess, with a rookie quarterback and with the other options out there, how would you characterize the hire of Josh McDaniels? Again, was it the right hire? Do you think they're going in the right direction, bringing him back here?
I think it's a great hire. This side of the ball on the offense has been a struggle bus for the last few years since he's left. It's been very disoriented from offensive line to inconsistency with the receivers, just inconsistencies, as a whole, as an offense. I think the main part has been, lack of details and a lack of execution. Mm-hmm. And what Josh McDaniels is going to emphasize is details, execution, in preparation, all the things that you need to have, in a good offense. And like I said, a couple of these guys that are still on the roster, they've got to play under Josh McDaniels. I'm sure they're happy to have him back. It's a familiar system for them. And it's good that some of those guys will be there, like Kendrick Bourne, guys like David Andrews or guys like Hunter Henry. They can, really help those younger players and really get them to buy into the process, because it's not easy. Not going to be easy for a lot of those young players. It's going to be a lot different than what you've been doing those last couple of years. So it may be easy for you to be like, oh man, I can't rock with this. It's a little too tough. This guy's getting on me a little bit too hard, but he's getting on you because he wants the excellence. He demands the excellence, and if you buy in, the results will show. So that's why I'm glad some of those guys that have played under him are still there to help some of those younger players. I think it's a great hire. I know a lot of people say his offense is outdated and this and that. I'm not with that. I mean, football is like, I know people do all this shifting motion, whatever, these fast motions, but it's all the same thing at the end of the day. They're just dressing it up a little bit different. And we've done probably the most shifting and motion in different person than anybody else. I thought our offense was always, really versatile, and you can move guys in multiple different positions or different whatever alignments and everything like that, and the same stuff, but it looks different. So I think he's always done a great job of that. And I've also seen that he, during his time off this year, he's spent time with the different NFL teams, different college teams to really, learn a little bit more of what to add, to his offense, because it's a different style of players these days. They learn differently, and especially from the college level, as we all seen, like these guys, may not necessarily be prepared for, some of maybe the older offenses that were in the NFL. So I think he adapt that way too.
I want to get into that side of it, the scheme, this Earhart Perkins that it's called, the sort of the shell of it, even though it's so multiple and there's all these different scenarios. I want to get into that, but first, you mentioned buy-in, and there are some younger players on this team. Obviously, a rookie in Drake Maye, and then the two rookies, wide receivers, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. New era of player, you also mentioned. What is it like working under Josh? What does he expect from you? Is it you need to know every position, you need to know your position? Like, what's the work ethic that's needed? Is it going to be a challenge for these guys to turn this over? And again, what does he expect out of his players each and every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for the younger players like Polk and younger players like, Javon Baker, even probably guys like Kayshon Boutte, just because he's going to expect, you to know certain things. Like, maybe it takes you a couple weeks to get it. Maybe it takes you a couple months. Maybe it takes you, who knows, like a couple games before you really, get into a rhythm. But for those guys, for me, it's just don't get discouraged about it. Some guys he's going to want to learn multiple positions. Some guys may get put in the box for one position. Then once you, show that you can do that, then you'll get more put on your plate. So I think it just all depends on what you show you're able to do in practice. And then, as you prove yourself in practice and prove yourself in games, then the ball start coming your way more, and more of the plays will get designed for you. I just think he just demands you to work hard in practice, demands you to prepare hard, like everything's serious too, like from walkthroughs, walkthroughs after meetings, walkthroughs before practice. He's all about the details. Make sure your eyes aren't in the wrong place in the walkthrough. Your eyes are not in the wrong place, in practice, whatever it may be. He's going to be on top of it. He does a great job of not, allowing people to slip up and make errors at any point. And I think that's why, he's such a good offensive coordinator. It can be a lot at times for sure. Day before the game, you're walking through every single play, everything that might possibly happen that the defense might do. It's a lot. Like, man, like this is long, but when the game rolls around, it's like clockwork because, okay, we've already walked through every single thing. I'm ultra confident. So it's just those guys have to buy into the process. And like I said, they definitely can. And I think he can get the most out of Jalen Polk. He can get the most out of Javon Baker, Kayshon Boutte. So as long as those guys work hard and believe in what's going on, they'll be just fine.
PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, and all you have to do is pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, and the big game in the NFL is almost here, which means it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw for 1 yard to win. And if you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you will win real cash. So sign up today on the PrizePicks app. You'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So make sure you sign up today, download the app, and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. You mentioned knowing what every scenario is going to be on every certain play, so you always have the answer to the test. And I heard Tom Brady was on Colin Cowherd, Fox Sports, a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago at this point maybe, but Colin asked him, like, was it just difficult at the end working for Bill and Josh because they expected so much and you couldn't just relax on a Saturday night, but instead you were going through everything? And Tom said it was the exact opposite, where no, it's actually refreshing that we sit there and we go through everything. And so that if there's a 5% chance something's not going to work, we don't just say, well, we're going to take the 95%. We're going to know what the other answer is to the test. So we know what everything is. And so I'm glad you said that. It sounds like it makes a ton of sense from that. And again, it's the prep, it's the work, it's the prep, it's the knowing, okay, how do we answer this look? How do we answer this blitz? How do we answer this shell? Things of that nature. One more thing on Josh. I guess how similar / different, was working under him versus, working under Bill. I know it's different because it's an OC versus a head coach, but I feel like one of the knocks on Josh has been, when he goes off to be a head coach and takes on more than just offensive coordinator duties, that's kind of where things go awry. So were they the same? Were they different? How would you, I guess, look at their two different coaching styles?
I mean, everybody's going to be somewhat different, as a coach. I think for Josh and Bill, they're both about the details. They're both about the preparation. Like I said, but they're going to have different, personalities. For me, obviously I'm going to interact more with Josh more than I ever did with Bill, because Bill's a little bit more of a defensive coach. He's probably sitting in those meetings a little bit more than he ever was with the offense. So Josh was in full control of what the offense was doing. But I would say that they're fairly similar. I wouldn't say, as far as the lack of success he had as being a head coach, I don't think that's necessarily, to me, it's not completely 100% just on him. Sometimes it's all about, everything that's going on within the organization,
100%.
not being the right fit and at the right time from, whatever, GM, ownership, and just the players too. Like if you were able to, I always say, if you're able to just take our roster from New England and put them, in Vegas, you probably win a ton of games.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's not how this thing works. You gotta, try to figure out, who's going to be your guys. Those star guys that are already there that are under contracts. If those guys don't buy into what's going on, and they don't get to believe in what's going on, then it's kind of hard for those younger guys to really get it going. So it's easy to kind of lose, your locker room, I would say, if some of your good players there aren't in belief of what's going on. So I think sometimes it can be put in a difficult spot. I know a lot of people just automatically say if a lot of these coaches, they don't win, where they're at, they're just these bad coaches. Just sometimes it's just not the greatest situation. I mean, maybe they're not good head coaches. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm not in the building, so I don't know. I haven't sat in there. Only those people who are in those locker rooms or in those meetings will have a better understanding of how it all kind of went down.
All right, so this system, the Earhart-Perkins system, the EP that Josh runs, it's been in New England for since 2000, since him and Charlie Weiss were kind of there starting the entire thing. It's evolved in many ways. We saw your guys' season in 2020 with Cam Newton. He's running bootlegs. He's running zone reads. Like, it's very adaptable. It's very multiple. Yeah. And we also mentioned all of the answers to the tests that Tom had because he was in it for so many years, right? The reason I'm saying this is also listening to an episode of Edelman's podcast with Josh talking about preparing a young quarterback and developing a young quarterback and putting a certain amount of plays in his bucket. Okay, we can take care of red zone today. We can take care of third down today. We can make sure the center exchange is all set now and not putting everything on his plate.
Yeah.
I guess the big question here is, what exactly is this offense? And How difficult is it going to be for Drake Maye to pick it up? And I know that you've kind of seen it firsthand because you also saw the whole thing installed for Mac Jones his rookie season. So what's this going to look like? The answers aren't going to be all there right there, but I'm just curious about your view on this Josh McDaniels offense.
I think it's just a multiple offense. It's an adaptable offense. Like I said, it could be a game plan offense. It's almost like a week-to-week thing. Like, obviously, we had like our core plays that you would run, every single week. But, facing certain defenses, you have to scheme up your offense based on, the defense that you're going up against. Maybe they're a very good, run defense. And we may not expect to run the ball very well, and we'll go into the game plan think we may have to throw it to win the game, or vice versa. Maybe we think they have a very good pass coverage or this and that nature. Maybe we can't throw it 40 times. We're going to have to run the ball 30 times to win this game. We're not just going to walk out there saying like, okay, we're just going to do our thing. If they stop it, they stop it. If they don't, they don't. That's not necessarily, how we would, go about it. But I think as far as a rookie quarterback, I said, there's going to be a lot on your plate. I said, I don't know what he was responsible for, under Alex Van Pelt, and company, but he's going to be responsible for Mike points in the run game, responsible for Mike points in the passing game. He's going to be responsible for, checking protection. He's going to be responsible for, maybe alerting receivers for side adjustments, making sure they're on the same page. If the weak safety blitz is coming and the guy that picked up, letting them know that, still run your route. Like there's like a lot of, different, pieces to this offense. It's going to be a lot for him at first, but I think it'll be something that he'll be able to pick up based on what I've seen from him, so far in his rookie season. It seemed like the game was pretty slow to him and he wasn't panicking, with everything, the chaos that was going on around him, he never seemed to panic. So, I have full trust in, seeing how Mac was able to pick it up, really quickly. I think Drake will be able to do, a similar type of thing. So, there's going to be a lot of responsibility on him, a lot of onus. He's going to make some mistakes, I'm sure, early on. But, as the year goes on and, at the more reps he gets at it, I think he'll be ultra confident and he'll learn the game kind of front to back and get a better understanding of, everything, not just what he has to do, but, offensive line, running backs, receivers. I think that's the biggest thing about the offense. Everybody, the more you were in the offense, the longer you were there, you started to understand more of what we're trying to get done as a whole offense, not just my responsibility and my job. And the better you can understand that, the better the offense works.
This episode is also powered by Gametime, the best place to get tickets to anything, concerts, games, and more. They have the Gametime Picks feature that makes getting tickets even easier. It filters out the fluff and only shows you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They also have the lowest price guarantee, and they have seat views to check out exactly what it's going to look like from your seat. So make sure you download the Gametime app today to take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So you thought Mac took it on pretty good. Like he understood it easily, quickly. Like that was an impressive.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I think like as the weeks went on during training camp, you're just like, okay, like it's really starting to click for him. He's making these adjustments. He's making these checks. He's seeing the blitzes. He's getting the ball out of his hands. He knows where his hots are at. It's like, okay, like this is pretty impressive for a young guy, and he had a really good rookie season. So, I mean, it's like I said, if you're able to grasp and understand what's going on and really, work at it, and you won't have a problem with it.
And so you mentioned to all the adjustments that fall under the quarterback's sort of, purview, right? The mic adjustments, the knowing what the answer is hot off a blitz or adjusting the line protection. Like, at least from my understanding with the West Coast system they ran last year, a lot of the protections were on the center, and now those are on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Curious about, from a running back's perspective, for you, and I guess your position in general, what's on your plate, what's not, how easy, how challenging is it? I think in a conversation me and you maybe had in the past on one of our shows or one of my shows, you mentioned that it was difficult for you in season one and that's kind of why you didn't play as much. It took you a little while to pick it up. And then it eventually, caught on and you had the career you had. So what are the responsibilities of the running back in this scheme?
For the running back, I mean, it's like I said, I never played in a West Coast system, but like the center can make the mic point and, center or the quarterback can make the mic point, but the quarterback can always, trumpet at any given time if he sees a certain look based on safety rotation or the linebackers or the defensive backs and all that. But as a running back, it doesn't really make a difference to you whether the center's making the point or whether the quarterback's making the point. Based on that mic point and the protection, there's a certain, blitzer you may have. And so if a guy does a certain thing, you may have to pick up somebody else. If nobody blitzes, then you kind of get out on your route. So it just depends on the protection that's called and just really everybody being on the same page. But you do have to, have a feel for the offensive line calls and maybe even the different calls that the quarterback's making in certain protections, because that can change, who you're blocking, or maybe it can change, whether you're actually going to get out on your route and whatnot. So I think it was a fairly just really good, understandable, protection system. For me, I know Brian Hoyer always says, because he's been in a ton of different systems, he's like, it's the most quarterback friendly system when it comes to protection, as far as him picking things up. So to me, if I hear that from a quarterback, then I think it should be friendly, for everybody else as far as picking up blitzes.
Love it. All right. Well, this was awesome. Ton of good information. We appreciate it. I do have one final question for you. I know it was reported that Tony Dews is going to come over from the New York Jets. We don't know if it's running back. Don't know if it's tight ends coach. He's coached both. You did tweet something the other day with a little eyeball emoji, James White, that you may want to return. I don't know if it was here, but do something coaching running backs. Is that in your sights? Is that something you want to do? I don't know if it's here. You don't have to drop anything, but curious about your goals outside of media, and maybe if you want to join the coaching sphere someday.
I always like to tease people whenever they mention that about me being a running back coach. But like I say, if they were to reach out to me, I'd definitely entertain it for sure, especially with Josh, because I know the system. I know him personally, and I think that makes a difference as far as showing up to work, knowing what that coach is all about. I don't know Vrabel personally, but competed against him, quite a few times, whether at Ohio State or with him with the Texans and with the Titans and everything else. So know him kind of from afar, and obviously know he's a Patriot guy too. So yeah, I definitely entertain it some place that I know and I'm very familiar with. But I don't know if I'm ready for that, lifestyle, yet. Maybe somewhere down the line. But like I said, if that phone call did happen, I definitely listen in and, see if it's actually a fit for me currently.
Well, I love it. Yeah, maybe we'll see you around. Maybe we'll have you back here soon. But no, this was good. Again, a lot of great information. So we appreciate you joining us. Before we let you go, I know we talked about it a little bit off the top, but let the people know what you're up to, where they can find you. You have a lot of cool stuff going on in the media world. So just a quick plug for yourself before we get you out of here.
Definitely. You can check out my podcast, the Money Down Podcast. We drop new episodes, weekly, talking football, life, college football, entrepreneurship, a little bit of everything. Also do color commentary, for Sports USA, for NFL games. Did about 8 or 9 games this year doing that, which is a ton of fun. I was also on CBS Sports HQ covering some college football, for a couple Saturdays too. So they've been doing quite a few things. So yeah, you probably see a lot of different information about me on my social media platform. But yeah, that's kind of my life, right?
Good stuff. Well, again, thank you so much. Friend of the show, third time on Patriots Daily. We'll have you on very soon again to talk more Patriots football. That is James White, again, 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 51 hero, as we know. Toss to White, Patriots win, all that good stuff. And Money Down Podcast, doing a lot of media stuff as well. So make sure you follow him all over his socials and keep it here on Patriots Press Pass for all of your Patriots coverage as the offseason goes on. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you very soon. Peace out, everyone.